Okay, guys. Good afternoon already to everybody. We're going to talk about Afro-Colombianity today. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you the same material that is in the worksheet, but with the exception that I'm going to tell you all of it in English. Okay? All the material is going to tell you in English, so we can pass forward a traduction, a translation. I'm sorry, and we can have both sides, the English side and the Spanish side. Okay, so Afro-Colombianity, the Afro-Colombian culture with a diversity of customs and tradition, established as one of the primary cultural pillars of all Colombian culture. The term Afro-Colombian refers to the people who descend who have Afro descendants and live in several regions of Colombia. But in the same way, there are other local expressions which are very common to refer to them, like negros, morochos, morenos, libres, gente negra, gente de color, costeños, etc. The black people in Colombia are descended from the Africans who were brought originally as slaves during the colonial time, focusing mainly in three regions: the Pacific coast, the Caribbean coast, and in Valle del Cauca. Additionally to that, the Afro descendants have migrated to cities like Bogota and Medellin, in where all the Afro-Colombian population speaks Spanish, except for the poverty of San Basilio del Palenque, where they also talk Palenquero. Okay, the history of the Colombian Afroculture during the colonial time, due to the increasing disappearing of the Indian people, the Spanish king Charles V authorized the introduction of the Africans for heavy labors in America. So, in the year 1518, in the first ship arrived around 200,000 slaves proceeding from Angola, Senegal, Guinea, and the Congo, which were distributed among Ecuador, Venezuela, Panama, Peru, and Colombia. From this amount, only 80,000 came through the port of Cartagena, where they were bought and brought to internal markets, among which were Popayán, Santa Fe de Antioquia, Hondan, Serma, Saragossa, Cali. In this context, the Africans were used to the mining works, the agriculture, and the serving works. Ending in the 17th century, the Spanish conquered the Pacific coast, became it into an important region receptor of slaves. So the hardness of the slavery varied according to the region, having the slave the opportunity to enjoy to its own benefit a day at the week. Other could board the liberty which was given by their master, and some escaped when the areas were not being vigilated. The slaves who escaped established in some regions called quilombos or palenques to defend themselves from the Spanish missions. This process got intensified during the 18th century, besides led the Afro-descendant to join in the fight for independence. When the moment arrived for the Colombian independence in 1819, the importance of slavery had diminished in a lot of areas, although it was still um, very present in the regions of the Pacifica and El Cauca. After that, the 21st of May of 1851, slavery was completely abolished in Colombia. That's a reason why the slaves became workers in the mines and in the farm of their previous masters. So they were not longer slaves; they were now workers. especially in Antioquia and in Cauca. In the region of the Pacific coast, the Afro-descendant people has to be more like independent workers. Okay, let's talk about the characteristics of the Afro-Colombian culture. The Afro-Colombian culture established in three fundamental regions, each one of them with the characteristics to know. The Pacifico. Mainly, settlements of the Afro-Colombians in these regions are from rivers, okay, or coast ships, and very often very dispersed. The livings are normal rectangular wood constructions, which were made over stones and with just a roof of palm. Among the cities of most recognizement from Afro-Colombian culture are Quito, Tumaco, and Puerto de Buenaventura. The second region was El Cauca. Normally, the colonies, the Afro-Colombian colonies of Valle del Cauca, are localized in small farms, towns, and cities, building a population who fits the working hand of the industry from la caña de azúcar. A lot of these populators have migrated to cities like Cali and Medellin, where frequently they live in neighborhoods bought by themselves. Next is the Caribbean region. Okay, it represents the region where the concentration of Afro-Colombians is more notary. Normal wise distribute along the beaches. They habitate in houses of wood with a rectangular design. And other settlements are located further beyond the other side of the region in towns or in neighborhoods which are very poor in cities like Barranquilla and Cartagena. Okay, economically speaking, the activities of Afro-Colombian culture have a variation depending on each region of settlement. Okay, the activities of the Pacific region include the growth of plantains or corn, and the raising of pigs, and the fishing, and the hunting, and the minery. Okay. Also, um, in this sense, the state holds the Afro-Colombian as illegal occupants of the public lands, which origins its easy disoccupation for the big companies. Okay, their beliefs. Generally, the Afro-Colombian culture distinguishes for um, a despairing among the Catholic cultures, product of the evangelization and the convictions of the African roots. So it's like a mixture of both of them. Since the slavery, the Afro-Colombians used to have the rituals in the day off that they had by their masters, making fun and representations of them. Along a lot of years, it was a change. It was given a change of the festivity, which involved more the Catholic festivities instead of the Afro-descendant parties or celebrations. Okay, for the Afro-Colombian culture, the religious world expresses continually in the life among manifestations of faith and action. These dogmatical expressions came given for the devotion to the holy, their prayers, their legends, their pictures, their symbols, and the rituals with moral thoughts. Among these practices are also the use of magic and sorcery to attack enemies and to draw good luck. Also, the sorcery is employed against the envy or to conquer an impossible love or to accomplish, a salary raise or whatever. Despite of that, the Afro-Colombian culture assimilated the fundamental signs of the Catholicisms, like the love to God and the love to the others. Equally, they are present in the holy scene to the life, the dignity, and solidarity, and a celebration. The relationship with God is expressed through mediators like the Virgin, or like the saints, or like the dead, which are invocated in celebrations of magical. Among them are a mixture of several ingredients like music, dance, and joy to give the origin to a community with God. Okay, the cultural manifestations have been very important to the the Afro-Colombian culture to can nutrate the folklore that Colombia, since its music, dances, and beliefs, has been having along a lot of years. Being the population of San Basilio de Palenque a testimony of the customs and the first Afro-Colombian, which were free, actually free, were their traditional rituals like Lambalu, which is a ceremony of 9 days, which is summoned by okay the Creole the language, which is Criollo Palenquero, which is a combination of Spanish with Bantu, African, Portuguese, and French, in the same way as the Palenquero music, which is joyful and expresses with dances like entrompado, parraito, mapalé, etc. Besides, the Afro-Colombian culture established all over the territory of the New Grenade until our times. It is spread around it, being common the use of words like marimba, samba, guarapo, mocamba, ñapa, etc. Another manifestations that came through the African singings in the field were el porro or el bambuco, which are music genders, of course. Even vallenato, which is related to these things among the journeys of work, maybe longing for a lost country. In the region of the coast, in the same way, the Afro-Colombian left their mark in the musical rhythms like cumbia, bullerengue, or abosao. But the main gender of all Colombian music provides the drums rhythm. Okay, an instrument that became the musical expression to exercise every problem of the African with the colons, and that the marginated Creoles and Indians kept under the same feeling of hope. It's important to include the art of the tissues of yes, the tissue meant that it was created with palm trees leaves, in the same way as the medical practices with local heal men, which were accompanied by dances like batuk, or those women that with great skills carried very heavy pots among their heads, keeping balance in that rhythm so characteristic of the Afro-Colombian culture.